Oh, I'm starting. Okay. So, hey everyone, we've got is this episode 4, Zach, or is this episode 4 like asterisk because it's episode really 3 for everyone?
Well, technically, Matt, it is episode 4, and it's going to say episode 4 on YouTube, but where is episode 1? Nobody
No
knows.
one knows.
That's lost to time. Yeah.
Okay, so episode 4, we've got, as always, Zack and I as your hosts, and we've got an extra special guest today. He is
The specialist.
The specialist. His arrival to the triangle tennis scene has just made waves. The scene has been completely different since he arrived.
Did it remind you of a young Bjorn Borg when Jackson started playing tennis?
Again, since I don't watch tennis, I don't know.
No spoilers.
I'll cut that.
Was it like a right-handed Nadal when he burst in the scene?
It really changed everything here. So this is just exciting. But at this point, I guess we got to introduce them.
Let's do it.
So go ahead, Zach.
Well, for starters, we're recording on a Wednesday evening.
The
draws have been released for the Smash Cancer tournament in Wilmington. Firmly want to state for the record, this is an anti-cancer podcast. We're all participating. We're really looking forward to it. And one of our fellow participants is joining us tonight. He is actually the person who organized the Triangle delegation to this tournament, so he smashed cancer the most by anybody, arguably, at this tournament. And he's just generally spread good doodliness about the kind of community building we've seen. So I want to welcome Jackson Cabell to the podcast. Cabell, not Cable. Is that correct, Jackson?
That's right. Nice. Cabell like Scrabble.
Welcome.
That's what
Let's talk
like
Triangle tennis. Jackson, why don't you get us started? What goes into organizing a big group of tennis players to do an out-of-town tournament?
Thanks for the great introduction. I don't know if I would ever compare myself to Nadal, but I'm humbled. I think the biggest thing that I love the most is spreading good doodliness. So
just to be clear, you wouldn't compare yourself to Nadal. That's really for the people to say. You want the people to compare you to Nadal.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we could say that.
Perfect. Well, listen, Jackson, you organized something that you don't see people after 30 do very often. You got 20 adults to all share 2 different houses in Wilmington. How did that come to be? How'd you do that?
The biggest thing is I wanted to be together with everyone when we went to Wilmington. So if I'm going to be completely honest, once everyone decided they were going to Wilmington, I was just waiting to see if someone else would organize it. I would say by nature, I'm a planner. And so once I realized that the clock was ticking and that we were going to the Wilmington during peak beach season or close to peak beach season, I was like, if we all want to be together with a group of 20 people, we're going to have to get going. So that was just a plan. But honestly, it was pretty easy. People were pretty cooperative. I just asked a few questions to get people's preferences, and luckily there was a spot available to host us all.
So again, you got 20 adult recreational tennis players, and in some cases their partners, to sign on to this. You organized that, and you're being humble about it. That's fantastic. Who was the most difficult?
Who is the most difficult?
Who was the most difficult to pin down?
You're really making me want to call out names.
So I will call out myself because I like having a room to myself, and it just wasn't going to work. And Jackson had to lay it down and be like, "Man, you got to share a room." And I was like, "I respect you, Jackson. I will share a room."
That was
I will share a room. I would prefer to have my own room, but I will share a room. So he got me.
That's actually true.
Yep.
I thought it was going to be me because I did the same thing. Yeah. I was like, "Hey man, I'm too old.
Yeah,
like,
that's what
I'm
I
married.
said. Yeah.
Like I don't
but
like roommates are the past."
You do but you're with your wife, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's fine. If Jody was coming, that would be fine. But I'm excited. I think do we have bunkmates, or is it going to be a free for all, Jackson? What's the story?
I think it's just going to be a free for all. I considered like just putting people to rooms, but I was just like, we're all adults, so I think it's just better that we're free for all.
It would be incredible if you got there first and then did like Thanksgiving. Sometimes your mom will do a sign seating with like a name tag. Like imagine if you did that for the rooms and just put people in the wrong rooms.
Well, what if we do it like at East End where we draw the cards? Everyone has their name on the card, and then you draw the cards.
Matt, well, can you explain to the people what that tradition is and how that works?
I'm not there that often, but sure. I've seen Michael do this sometimes. They'll bring out playing cards, and they'll have like 2 of a kind. And so sometimes instead of just assigning people, if you grab this 2 of the same cards, then you play together. And that's one way to get people to play together. And so like Jackson we could possibly do that. I know some of us are getting there early, so we could have some fun with that, or just first come, first serve. So we'll see.
Well, look, in some rooms there's going to be 3 people, and challengers did just come out this year, so that does feel somewhat fitting.
Wow. Well, you'll have 3 people,
I did-
right, Jackson?
I did volunteer just because I knew 3 people would have to. I didn't mind sharing the worst room, so I did volunteer Juliana, my wife, and I with Jared to take the 3-person room. So basically, I didn't mind staying in the worst room, so I volunteered Juliana, my wife, and I to share it with Jaren, since really close to Jaren. I've known Jaren for a while, even before I was introduced to the group, and so. But I will say that was before Challengers was released. And so now that just adds a great piece of the puzzle now. So everyone's going to be really excited to hear about that.
I have not seen Challengers yet,
Nope.
but it seems like the internet really enjoys it, both tennis and non-tennis. Have either of y'all seen it?
No, I just refuse to pay to see it. I'm just waiting until it comes out on some Hulu or whatever. I will rent it. When it comes out to rent, I will rent it, and then I will be excited to do a podcast on reviewing it. I just can't imagine how it's going to be good, but everyone keeps telling me it's good.
I think we should do a special episode when it comes out, and we should do like one of those annoying like Matt and Zack react videos to downloaders.
Absolutely. Jackson, have you seen it?
I think people will love that. I actually did just see it on a week ago, just with Juliana.
Nice.
And I would say it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Would that have been awkward to see with a group of 3?
What if Jared
I don't think it
came?
would have been awkward. I think it would have been exciting. But
What a modern man you are, Jackson. That's fantastic. Yeah. So, what were the highlights? Like, can Zendaya act? Can she actually play tennis? Like, I have a lot of questions.
I think Zendaya can act. I was impressed with all of the tennis scenes. I feel like someone was telling me about actually how she had mentioned what she practiced most was the footwork, and how she really paid attention to that. And that, to be honest, it really does make it look like they're good tennis players when they're doing the right footwork. And that's probably why I don't look like I'm a good tennis player, because I don't know anything about footwork. But the tennis scenes were enjoyable with that, and they were pretty good with that. I don't know the names of the male actors, because I'm not really good with the names and actors and actresses, but
It's
I think
just two
everyone
British
did it
dudes,
pretty.
right?
Yeah.
Just some 2 dudes.
The young British dudes, they all just kind of blend together. Doesn't matter what the role is. Like, there's like a dozen of them. They're all like handsome in like a traditionally non-traditional way, and they all have a fancy accent in interviews, and like that's fine.
And I guess they're good at acting too. We'll add it to the list.
Sure.
With the accent, you can't tell. If
I agree.
If they got the British accent, like they might just be fancy, not good at acting. That one dude in season 2 of White Lotus, Theo James, that's a handsome guy. I don't know if he can act. He's got a great accent, handsome. Yeah.
Handsome gives you like a certain like level. You're like automatically an okay actor if you're handsome. Is that the working theory?
Pretty like Glenn Powell. Like no idea if that guy can act or not. Another one. So Jackson, you did touch on this. You said that your footwork is what keeps you from looking like a good tennis player, but you had a pretty spectacular tennis journey. Why don't you tell people when you started playing and what level you're playing at now and how you got there?
I had played tennis like once a year growing up, I would say, just randomly with friends. But in COVID, so I basketball is my favorite sport to play pickup with and to get exercise. And during COVID, people weren't playing basketball because you were getting too close to each other. So that I started to play a little bit of tennis then, and that was when I really started my first job. And now that I was making a little bit of money, I was like, all right, I'll financially invest in tennis and buy a racket. And so once I bought a racket, I was like, all right, I'm gonna get some reps in. So
wait, really quick, what racket was that, and what was the frame size?
That racket was a Babolat Arrow, and I think the head size was 112 square inches. You probably know better than me, Zach. But fun story behind that is I played with that racket like the first 3 years I played tennis. Didn't really realize what a better racket was, but Zach saw it one day when we were playing at the courts at East End. He was like, let me see that racket for a second. Compared it to his racket, he was like, why don't you give this one a try? And he gave me his Arrow Plus, which is what I'm using today, which I think is like 100 square inches. But honestly, at the beginning, it was tough to have the smaller surface area, but eventually I definitely can get like more power with that and more control after I got some reps in with that.
So kind of funny story within the story. I actually wasn't the one to notice. I overheard somebody else say,
I remember that was the first time it was brought to my attention that I was playing with the weird racket, because he mentioned it after the match about how big it was. But
I mean, that's like a full 12 inches larger than the standard. Like I've seen people play with 102-inch frames, but that is a very large frame. And so you were just mashing the ball with that. But if I remember correctly, it was a little harder to target with that size frame, yeah?
Yeah, and it was lighter. Mm-hmm. But honestly, in doubles, no ball was getting past you, even if it was frame or whatnot. It was just such a big target. But
yeah,
that's kind of an interesting question. Do you think the pure doubles guys, like, would they benefit maybe from playing with the larger frame? I'm imagining a doubles player like a hockey goalie with like a 180-inch frame now.
I have a 105-inch frame, so I think I'm in the middle.
What racket is that?
My Diadem. It's actually a beginner's racket. They sell it for beginners.
I think that was perhaps why that racket could elicit such a reaction, Jackson's. Yeah, like beating like pretty good 4-0s with a beginner's racket was like, and you've been playing at that point for what, like 2 years?
Just about. That was like my first year of like consistent playing.
Yeah. And so what did you do to improve in that first year? So you got this racket, 112-inch frame, you're mashing the ball. What happened next?
I would say before even getting that racket, I was like improving my best. I think post getting the racket, the biggest thing was the smaller head size, like you said, allowed for more control, but then also just having heavier weight. That's when I really started to get a lot more power. And that was also at the time, then I started hitting a lot more balls out. Jaron put me on to these new strings that had these like twists on them. And that paired with the heavier weight really helped me with my control. In terms of improving, basically just getting tips and tricks from our group of friends, the ESM boys, just on Saturdays, basically getting secondhand lessons from everyone. I think that was like a huge way that I improved. And then just trying to get as many reps in as possible through like leagues. In spring, played on 2 different teams, but then in the summer, I think I was on 5 different summer singles teams. So just like trying to get as many points reps in as possible.
Oh man. Hey, for both of you guys, but I want to go to Matt with this actually. What's the ideal number of teams to play on in a given season?
As many as you can.
What's the most you play on?
I'm about to play on 5. Assuming I can, but yeah, Spencer and I are on 5. I think he's on all the same ones as me. And I technically played 4. Did I play 4? I technically played 5 because I played in a pickleball league too.
Definitely not counting that. No chance of that. It's a different sport.
I played way more matches in my pickleball than I played tennis.
It's not even a knock on pickleball, which I'm not a huge fan of. It's a different sport. Okay. It's like, I played in 4 tennis leagues and a basketball league. Did I play in 5 leagues? No, you didn't. That's 4. It's 4.
Okay. I don't know if I agree with that.
I don't think if you played a table tennis league, does that count?
That's league. So I played in 4 different leagues. Did you say, I guess tennis leagues. We're trying to say tennis leagues.
That's a fair point. I think, let me clarify. 10 was the optimal number of tennis leagues,
league?
Independent of other extracurriculars, which I'm putting pickleball in the other extracurricular
That's
category.
Fair. Probably 4. I think 5 is too many, but I'm going to do 5.
Jackson, what say you?
I think 5 is mine too in summer singles, but in terms of optimal, I think 5 was too many, if I'm being completely honest. I was pretty burnt out after that. I would say, like, because you want to get, I think ideally is timing it so you can get 2 league matches in per week.
Exactly.
I think that's like the sweet spot. But sometimes you can have the perfect storm and you're playing in 3 or 4. So whatever it takes to get into 2 league matches.
I would 100% agree with that. 2 league matches a week is good.
I'm such a baby compared to you guys. For me, 2 is the right number. And that gets me 1 league match per week. But also, if there's a rain out, it's manageable-ish to reschedule. If y'all have 2 or 3 league matches get rained out in a row, playing in 5 leagues, that's got to be impossible to reschedule.
That is true, especially in the summer.
Yeah,
that rain do be coming down.
Yeah,
it do.
I don't know. I don't have a lot going on after work, so I don't usually care. That's really mine.
Let's go back to the tournament for a minute. I think part of what makes the Wilmington tournament so popular is I think a lot of people want to go to Wilmington, especially in mid to late May. Is Wilmington the best out-of-town tournament to go to, in y'all's mind?
I like Asheville
better. Is Wilmington
the
best host city? Oh, yeah.
No, I just like Asheville because I like the city better, but I've had a lot of fun in Wilmington. I like Asheville better.
I was going to say the same as you, Matt. I would say I haven't been to any out-of-town tournament, so TBD. But Asheville sounds. I grew up being a beach man, but I definitely converted into a mountain man in the most recent years. So I think Asheville would be a lot of fun. Cool environment.
Yeah.
You can go hiking on the side. They got some good breweries out there.
Yep.
So I don't drink during tournaments typically, or I try not to drink during tournaments. And also, I'm not a craft beer guy, so Asheville's a little lower on my list. Greensboro puts on a good tournament. I think it's not like the most happening city, but like there's stuff going on. For me, it's Wilmington. I think there's a great food scene. You get the fresh seafood's fantastic. The weather's good. You get that salt smell in the air. To me, that is the best spot. And categorically, Fayetteville is the worst. I'm going to put a tournament again this year, but
Kinston.
It's a very well run tournament. It's just Fayetteville frightens me.
The location.
Yeah,
Kinston is the worst place ever.
Kinston.
There's
I haven't
nothing
been
there. We've gone there for states. It's terrible. There's.
I'd like to I hope we get fact checked about this Kinston claim. There's got to be something.
It's like one bar. We went to a bar. One time we went there, and I don't know how. I got like double drink tickets, and we had to drive back. So I had like 30 drink tickets. So I went into the bar, and there was 3 of us. It was me, Kevin. I think Kevin Lloyd was with us, and somebody else. And we had 1 drink each because we had to drive home. And I had 27 drink tickets, and I went in there. I was like, "Who wants free drinks?" And everyone got like 3 free drinks because there was only like 7 or there's only a couple people in there.
Did the bar just go nuts when you pulled out your 27 free
As
drink
much
tickets?
as you would think, no. They were like, "Oh, cool, man." Yeah. It was still, yeah. That's why Kinston kind of sucks. Like, I was giving out free drinks, and people just were like, "Man, that's fine."
I would have thought there'd be a little more Southern hospitality, like a little bit of backslapping at least. You know,
Yeah, a little bit of hooting and hollering.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah.
Damn.
Kinston.
It's lame.
Okay.
Kinston.
It has the stamp of disapproval.
Yeah.
From the Triangle Tennis Pod.
Yeah.
How far are we from Kinston? Where is Kinston?
2 hours, 2.5.
I don't think there's that many players coming here that are going to get mad at us about that. So
No,
we should be
I'm fine with that. Yeah, I'm fine with that statement.
Yeah.
I'm not cutting it.
Yeah. Hey, so earlier I mentioned I try not to drink during tournaments. I sometimes do. What are your go-to tournament prep rituals?
Go ahead, Jackson.
I would say I didn't used to have any, but last summer Sizzle and Carrie, I cramped only on my second match in doubles, by the way, just doubles. It was just a hot, sweaty day. I sweat a lot, and I cramped in the second match. Jaron had to stretch me out. Shout out to Jaron. He's always there when I need him. And we were able to finish out the match, but that was when I realized I really did take my hydration a lot more seriously. And Mike Westlander, got to shout him out. He got me onto these pickle juice drinks, it's literally just pickle juice. You can get them in Harris Teeter, and they're in the sports drink section. In preparation for Wilmington, I bought 9 8 fluid ounces containers of pickle juice. But Mike gave me one of those post match after the cramp, and was all set for the rest of the tournament.
Good.
Yeah.
The pickle juice is legit, but I've definitely cramped up a couple times, even with the liquid IV. When if it's 90 plus, like you can drink any amount of stuff, and it might just happen. Matt, what about you?
I think I mentioned this last time on the pod too. I don't really play. I try not to play a couple days before, and not lift as much. That's the big thing. You don't want to go in there sore.
Have you guys ever watched A Knight's Tale with Heath
Yeah.
Ledger? One of my. So this is part of my tournament prep. In that movie, there's a character, or just like the characters that support Heath Ledger's knight career. They will make up like fictitious stories about the awful things that his opponents do.
Yeah.
Like they burn churches, like that kind of stuff. And so sometimes before a tournament, I'll look at the draw, and if I don't know somebody that I'm playing, I'll make up like fake backstories to try and like hype myself up. And then all I do is like tire myself out, just like playing this silly game, and it doesn't work. And then I meet him, and almost always they're a nice enough guy. And that's that. But it's kind of a fun thing to do.
Zach, you have most definitely done that for me before my opponents several times before league matches, and they always give me a good chuckle before.
I don't know what you're talking. That doesn't sound like. What kind of stuff would I even say there?
One of them was like so out of left field. I like misheard you. I was like, "There's no way you just said that." It was like something about how he was murdering kids or something. Like I was like, "Whoa!"
Wow. I take it a little far sometimes, but it's a fun exercise, and it's the Knight's Tale strategy.
Yeah.
Any other non-match related stuff we want to talk about Wilmington? Do we want any, like, do we get into restaurants? Do we get in the city?
I have a question for you all.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
So in the event that it is raining and we don't get as much tennis in, are you thinking that you want to go to the beach, even if it's semi-sting or a little bit cloudy, or are you trying to go downtown and not go to the beach? Go to like a brewery. I know there's talk of table tennis at High Wire. What's your vibe?
I think you got to go to the beach at least once if you go to the beach, right?
I'm with you.
I'm not gonna like break out a towel and post up, but I'm gonna get some steps in on the beach at least, and then I'm gonna go to High Wire.
Yeah.
And do more drinking ping pong, a little bit of ping pong.
Considering ping pong is one of the few things I can do left-handed, I will be trying to play as much ping pong as possible.
I respect it.
Yeah.
Wilmington's got some great restaurants. If the tournament gets rained out, I'm just gonna eat. I'm just gonna eat my way through town. I've got a couple already, a couple reservations for Sarah and I. It's a great food city. They got fresh stuff. It's good.
Zach, you did the tournament last year, right? For Smash Cancer, the same tournament?
So last year it was Ryan Seiko, it was Evan P, complicated last name. it was Daniel, and it was me. And so Daniel and I stayed in the house, and that was a good time. And Ryan came through a couple times. Ryan Seiko actually won in 4-5 singles last year, and so he's somebody you got to watch out for to repeat.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, Daniel and I both made it to the singles finals where he beat me in like the most ridiculous fashion imaginable. And then we won in doubles. So it was a pretty successful trip for the Triangle delegation last year. And that was just with 4 guys. We're rolling deep this year. I'm hearing talk of like a multi-event sweep. I'm talking everything from 3-5 singles to 4-5 doubles getting swept by Triangle guys. Is it going to happen?
It's got to happen.
Sure.
We're not going home until it happens.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Speaking of the rain,
Yeah.
if they have to pivot to fast
Yep,
four,
I wanted to talk
get
about
it, right?
that,
Like,
yeah.
That's what they got to do. Like the goal is to get matches in. The goal is to get through the tournament. It just sucks when you prepare for one format and get switched to another. It's nobody's fault. I just find Fast Four as a format unsatisfying.
Yeah.
I would say that's one of my least favorite things about tennis is like the modified scoring. It almost like changes the sport. Even if we didn't go into Fast Four, they're already planning to do this tournament with no ad scoring. So what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that? Even if with the full draw, they were doing no ad scoring.
Wait.
My thought is that I'm just now finding
Me
this out
too.
and I don't
I
like
didn't
it.
know that. Oh, when did this occur?
Wait, what do you mean? There's no ad scoring?
Yeah, that's what I saw it in bold, and I was just very surprised. But that type of stuff, I'm like, this is weird because it's just a different strategy.
Can I tell a story? I hope this doesn't get Ryan Seiko in trouble, but it's pretty epic. In one of his matches last year, it might have been the final, same deal. They got rid of ad scoring, and I just remember Ryan and his opponent looking at each other and just being like, what if we didn't do that? and then they proceeded to have the longest, most epic match with which Ryan pulled out, and they were the last ones on the courts by like an hour and 15 minutes.
Wow.
And I'm sure the tournament organizers, like, they knew they had to put together what had happened, but at that point it was too late. Certainly not advocating for that. was epic when Ryan did it. And also, I'm not going to make any promises that, if given the opportunity, that I wouldn't do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I think you should totally do that.
Interesting.
I think the good news is the tournament organizers are not going to listen to this until after the tournament. But yeah,
that's assuming they listen to it. That's assuming they listen to it. So I don't necessarily like Fast Four, but I think it works well for me in a tournament in a situation where people haven't seen my serve, because it takes them a game or two. It takes you, especially in doubles, like you just won't have enough reps on my serve to catch up. So like we played, I remember it was in Wilmington. I had to do Fast Four a couple years ago, and like I don't think I lost my serve because no one had time to adjust to it. So I don't mind it as much. So if you have something like that where it's kind of weird, takes people a second to adjust, that can be helpful.
Oh, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. So the Fast Four format could really favor a player like Spencer Llewellyn, who's got a crafty game. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Jackson, do you think Fast Four helps you or hurts you?
I've played in a Fast Four. My first ever USTA experience was a Fast Four tournament in Greensboro because I got into the scene late. I couldn't get onto a team for league, so I looked for the first tournament available, and it was Greensboro Fast Four. And honestly, I didn't mind it as much as I thought I would, but I would say I don't benefit from it now. I think what benefits me in singles is being able to run for a while. So having a longer match time helps me more than a short and quick one. Plus, I don't like to stress at the beginning. I like to kind of just go in there with an open mind. If I go down 3 games, not get worried because there's a lot more tennis to be had. But with Fast 4, it's a little bit more stressful because you feel like you have to get out of the gates quick.
Yeah, you have to start strong.
I do want to toss out there that I while Fast 4 is an imperfect scoring system, I like it better than Pro Sets. I think that to me the one set, it changes the game even more than Fast 4. So if we're gonna pick between alternative scoring systems, that's the one. So I think that they're making the right call.
I agree with you. Yeah, Pro Sets. Yeah, doesn't even feel like a match.
I don't know. I don't have a strong
Are you a Pro Set
opinion.
guy, Matt?
I don't have a strong opinion on that topic.
We did that a lot more in high school. For some reason.
Did we? I just can't remember. No, I don't remember ever switching. If it got rained out, we just didn't play the match. I don't remember ever having to switch in high school. We were supposed to play 3 matches in a day one time for something for a tournament. I remember I had an epic match, and I had just lost. It was like 9-11, and I chucked my racket at the fence, and my coach was right there.
9/11?
Yeah, something like.
You threw your racket after 9/11?
Oh. That's true. Yeah, sure. I threw my racket, and my coach was like right there, and there was a fence, obviously, but it went right at his face.
What did he say?
He didn't say shit, but I didn't play the next match. He sat me out. I was gonna lose because I was gonna play like one of the best players in the league, and then the next guy played one state that year, so I got smoked either way. Oof. So yeah, it was. Yeah. I wasn't going to win, so it wasn't like a huge loss for him.
Well, so listen, we're going to take a quick break from this episode to talk about a few things that we discussed in the last episode.
Oh, yes.
Max Gregson wrote in, called in, faxed in some pretty awesome fact checks of us.
Yeah.
And so I got something wrong that I got to own. Apparently, North Hills does not have a golf course. The $40,000 initiation fee it does have, though, which to me makes that even more ridiculous. Like you're like, I cannot understand making that expenditure. For those that do, God bless, enjoy those courts.
Yeah.
And that's like a one-time fee you pay upon becoming a member on top of the membership?
For the right of becoming a member, you pay the initiation fee of $40,000 for no golf course, but tennis
and
course.
then there's
like an ongoing payment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
The food must be fantastic there.
Yeah. I've never been there. Yeah. Someday I'll get over there.
Matt, what else did we get wrong in the last episode?
All kinds of stuff. The red clay at Raleigh Racket Club is apparently Cali clay. It is common in Europe, and from Max, what he was telling us, it's essentially carpet with red clay laser grade on it. I'm not sure what that means, but we'll have Max on to clarify that statement. But we were wrong about that. The next one was on me. This one's about how much money you can get from USTA tournaments. USTA takes $1 per entry from tournaments. I probably said like 15% cut. The rest goes to the tournament director. Max was saying profits can range from about $3,000 to $30,000, so that's not bad.
And the tournament director is also paying the facility fees and trophies and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
This last one, I don't know if it's a fact check necessarily, but the people need to know.
Yeah.
John Hereford cannot get bumped under the current USTA system until 2026.
Yeah.
So if you're tired of losing to that guy in 4-0 singles matches, get better, because he's going to keep playing.
Play up.
Get better. Just get better.
It's great advice.
I want to play him again, so I can't wait till he gets bumped. I want to play him so bad. He's so good. I don't understand why he will only play at 4-0 as he's on a now, I think, 70-match plus winning streak.
Wow.
He's got to have played in like the national tournament, right? Did he not play in the national tournament last year?
This is not in our doc, but we were told that he won nationals last year. And I don't know if that's true, but it
feels right.
So
it feels right.
Yeah. Like, imagine winning all those other tournaments and not going to nationals.
Yeah.
You win 22 regional tournaments and then losing nationals. Oof. That's like going undefeated and losing the NCAA tournament, but for 4-0 rec tennis.
Yeah.
That is it for the fact checks. Matt, plug your stuff.
Plug my stuff? What do I want to plug today?
Well, why don't you mix it up and do Diadem?
Yeah.
Why not?
Sure. We've got Diadem. Oh, I guess this is not a visual podcast, so that won't help. I just pulled out a nice visor, pretending that people could see it. Yeah. Oh, it's not. Again, it's Diadem. I've just been getting great reports from Jaron that the Diadem shoes are really solid. He's not a big fan of shoes, but he says they've been working for him, so I'm excited to hear that.
Very cool. I was gonna plug Swing Vision, but Mark Schur texted me an application to be a Swing Vision online influencer. So of course I applied, and I was immediately rejected.
What?
Probably because I say like a lot of dumb stuff on social media, so I don't blame them. But they did reject me, so now I'm definitely not plugging Swing Vision. I will tell you that I recorded myself playing Josh Lundgren this evening, and it was fantastic, and an even better one against Rob Byer. So. Like,
nice.
I can't plug it, but their product still is fantastic, and I'm using it regularly, and if you aren't, you should too. Not a plug.
You can plug. What are they going to do? What are they going to do?
I guess, I don't know. Could they send me a cease and desist for plugging something they don't want me to?
No.
Like, if O.J. Simpson came back to life and was like, Swing Vision, you should use it. Could they, like, would they sue him?
Speech,
could they
man.
sue him?
We're having Max on the pod. We'll have to ask him. He's a lawyer. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like,
Wow.
I feel like you've got to be able to say that.
Yeah. Jackson, what do you want to plug? Apple products.
Yeah,
it
well, you
won't
got
get
to
you in
plug
trouble.
Apple.
Talk about it. Yeah.
No. Oh gosh, I want to plug. I don't know what I want to plug.
The concept
That's
of
friendship. I was just about to
I just
say
wanna
friendship,
plug,
too.
Yeah, I was going to say love.
Wow.
Yeah.
What
Love
is
for the
love if
friends,
not
yeah.
the highest form of friendship?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a great
Just
plug.
happy to be here. Excited to hang out with everyone this weekend.
It's going to be fun.
Oh, there we go. Hey, let's talk about some people that we know. Let's get into the brackets. What is the round one match that you all are the most excited to see in Wilmington, assuming that we're not rained out?
I can start.
Yeah, go for it.
I just got off a match with Josh Lundberg earlier this week too, Zach. So I warmed him up for you, and I saw that he's playing Ben Redmond.
Did I get the second half of Josh's last name wrong a second ago? I totally did. It's Josh Lundberg,
totally
not
did.
Lundgren. That's my bad.
I would have
Josh,
pronounced it
sorry.
wrong either.
Yeah.
Josh, where Zach lives. But I saw that he was matched up against Ben Redmond, who's been on a tear, and I don't know why he's playing 3-5 too, but he's been giving 3-5 the work and then also playing strong at 4-0. So I'm really excited to see that singles matchup in 4-0. I think it's second round technically, but I know Ben is definitely moving on. Josh has the bye. I know Ben's definitely moving on. So I'm excited to see them match up. Josh has a crazy good serve and volley game. We had a great match, went into 3 sets. Josh took it, and he's got a great game all around. So I'm excited to see him and Ben match up.
Ben has a pretty fantastic serve and volley. Josh has
Oh.
are we going to see an actual serve and volley match
That's crazy.
in Wilmington? That's what a blast from the past.
Yeah.
That would be epic.
That is wild. Wow.
Yeah. I hope they Swing Vision that one. That I would watch.
Can you swing? I guess it's legal, but do people swing vision in tournaments?
I'm gonna ask my opponent
Okay.
and see if they're cool with it.
Yeah.
And if they're not, of course,
I'm sure
you gotta
they
ask.
are.
But
Yeah.
I've never had anybody say no.
Yeah.
I kind of can't wait until they do, because then I'm gonna just have to go out there and beat that person.
So, does it cross the line if you ask to swing vision someone else's match that you're not even a part of?
It doesn't cross the line, but I feel like that it's reasonable for somebody to say no.
Yeah.
Because that could be if it's a distraction you don't want, you can absolutely say no, thank you to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Matt,
What do you think, Matt?
I mean, I don't have a problem with it, but I would be like, that's odd. I don't know. Maybe I would, because
Especially if it was someone you didn't know.
that would be real odd. Yeah. Maybe if it was somebody I didn't know, I would say no. But if Zach was like wanted to swing vision, maybe I might ask Zach to swing vision my first match back or something like that. I could see that happening.
Yeah. And then I just send you my discount code.
Sure.
My referral code.
Sure.
Yeah.
There you go.
For me, the round one matchup. So this is a guy who does not particularly care for tournaments, but is famously a curator of the vibes, in support of good dudeliness, and supportive of the cause. Michael Young versus a fella named Russ Sabora. I don't know much about Russ, but I just feel like if Michael gets this win in round one, and I think he's gonna go on a tear.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at the 3-5 draw. I didn't recognize anyone's name except for Michael, and I know Michael has been on a winning tear. So I'm looking for him to make a big debut on his first tournament in a long time.
I also think, and I got to make fun of Michael for this a little bit, like, he's a tournament guy. It's ridiculous that he says he doesn't like tournaments. He's wrong.
Oh.
He thinks he doesn't like tournaments, but he's going to have so much fun. And watch this. He's going to turn into a tournament guy. It's just a bunch of hanging out and playing tennis. What's not to like?
I agree. And what better tournament to start your tournament tear on when we're all going to be together, living together,
There we go.
Yeah.
sleeping together.
That's some of us in the same rooms. Oh,
Matt, who
is
you
it
got?
my turn? I don't know if it's the most interesting. I just think Mark Schur and Ben, it's just like, that's at 3-5. That's just wild. they're just going to tear through 3-5. I don't know who can stop them. I might even predict that they may not. I think it's fair to say they're not going to drop a set, and maybe even
Really?
Is that?
Yeah,
Are we talking 3-5 dubs?
I think so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think 3-5 dubs. I agree. I think they're going to put on a tear. I love the no set dropping prediction.
Yeah.
That just adds a little layer of fun to it.
Yeah.
You should tell them that before the match.
Well, I'm assuming everyone will
Before the
listen to the
tournament.
podcast. My goal is to edit this tonight, and I assume every single person will listen to this before they go. They have to.
I've never seen this before. It appears that there are in the 3-5 men's doubles bracket, there are 3 separate either father-son or brother-brother duos all in a row.
Wow.
That's
wild.
In the round of 16.
Oh, whoa.
I think that's the only wild card. If it's a father-son duo, sometimes that goes off the rails. If it's a brother-brother duo, that also sometimes goes off the rails.
Yeah.
If they're good communicators and they've got a bunch of reps, that's a big advantage.
Yeah.
But I'm with Matt. I think those guys aren't going to lose a set. I think they're going to cruise.
Yeah.
They're coming home with a trophy one way or another.
Yeah.
All right, Mark and Ben, don't let us down.
Yeah.
No pressure. No pressure. All right, so who are the other players that y'all are watching at the tournament? Are there any guys on a tear that we should be keeping an eye on?
I can go. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, you
go.
I'm going to go.
We're professional podcasters. This is as good as it gets.
For the 4-0 singles, I'm keeping my eye on Mike Westlander.
Mm-hmm.
He has been playing really solid, and I don't know if he did Smash Cancer last year in Wilmington, but I know that he was the reigning champ of Hollow Rock, and Hollow Rock got rained out this year, so he's just waiting to take his next champion throne in the next tournament. So I'm thinking he has a good shot at taking the crown for 4-0 singles this year.
Yeah. He's been playing really
That's a good
well.
pick.
I know he's been spending a lot of time at it, getting lessons and really putting in the work, so I agree with that.
Yeah. Matt, who you got?
I have Raymond because him at 4-0, I've been watching him and looking at the 4-0s. I think I could definitely see him. And I think we had maybe even talked about this for Hollow Rock, him and Josh meeting up in the finals. And I think that could – is Josh playing 4-0 singles? If he is, then that could definitely be another finals here. But there just aren't –
Yeah, they're on opposite sides of the
I think I'm just going to go ahead and call it that is going to be that's going to be the finals. Stewart's not there, is he? Stewart could throw a wrench in that prediction.
Yeah.
No, he's doubles only.
Okay, then I feel good about that prediction, and I think
Yeah.
that'll be a real fun match.
For me, it's Seiko. He's got his mojo right now. He's serving well. He's playing good dubs. I mean, him and Rob's match in 5-0,
yeah.
where they took a set off those guys, and they were really, really good players.
They were.
I think he's going back to back at 4-5 and singles.
They were-
I think there's a ton of good players in that draw. This is just a great tournament. But I think this is Seiko's tournament.
Yeah, they almost won that set. They were up 4-0.
Jackson, would you care to comment on that?
Yeah.
I hope I get to see Ryan in the I think I'm on the same side of the draw as him in 4-5 singles. So I haven't played against Ryan in a long time. We've done some practice singles, and Ryan gave me the work. So I'm due for chipping away at him if we meet up. I got my eyes first on those Spencer.
Yeah.
Spencer is that potential first round matchup for me. I take the winner of his match, and he's looking like he'll probably take that.
Yeah, it's a shame. It seems like the majority of Triangle 4-5 guys are in the bottom half of that draw, which makes me think that Daniel Marchek is a lock to come out of the top half.
Yeah, I saw that. I think so too.
Do we think there's anything behind that? Does Daniel have any connections that might have led to that?
I mean, he's a pretty popular
Yeah.
guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
He could if he pull those strings, maybe he could. I don't know.
I've definitely heard. I think like Ryan.
I might just keep that in because whatever Jackson just did was hilarious.
Jackson just glitched out. That was an amazing noise. I also had Josh at 4-0 as a player to watch. He's just playing awesome. I think of all the draws that I'm most interested in, I think the 4-0 doubles, there's just so many good teams and there's so many good matchups there, and there's an abundance of triangle guys. I think that's going to be consistently really fun matches in 4-0 dubs.
Yeah.
Here's your quarterfinal matchup. Raymond and Nick, both of whom amazing players. Raymond just
I
mashes
wrote that
the
down.
ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, against like Christopher Green and Mike P.
Yeah.
Like that's an awesome doubles match.
Yeah.
That's an epic
like,
match.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm bullish on Christopher Green and Mike P. I think they've got that chemistry off the court, and they've both been playing really solid. Mike P just totally blitzed through that Charlotte tournament, right, for singles.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Christopher Green's been getting that serve really cooking, so
Yeah.
I think they're going to be a really fun duo to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that they are both like the secretly reverse mortgage your parents' house and bet it all on them getting bumped lock of the century. Like they're both
Wow.
playing so well. Yeah, they're getting bumped.
Definitely.
Bet it all. Bet it all.
Bet it all.
We're not. Yeah. It's gonna be so cool when DraftKings start doing like local tennis tournaments.
We could start our own. We could start that.
I was going to say,
I think that's like a crime if we do that. We got to talk to Max about that.
Yeah, we have to.
Can we
We
run?
have to write down these questions. Can we run a local gambling ring for local tennis? Gambling's legal,
Legally.
but it's legal in North Carolina. You can bet on sports.
I'm pretty sure there's like regulators and stuff like that we got to deal with.
Ah, shit, that's annoying.
I guess it depends on how big it gets. I mean, you can do poker on the side, right? Like, you can have friends over, do a
Yeah.
poker night and bet.
No,
real money.
actually, I looked that up, and that is full on illegal in the state of North Carolina.
Really?
It's,
Really?
it's very selectively, like maybe not at
Whoa.
all enforced, but like unequivocally, you cannot have a cash poker game in
That's
North
absurd.
Carolina as an individual. Yeah, and that's why none of us would do that kind of thing
Ever, yeah.
ever under any circumstances. Matt Jackson.
Wow. Okay. That blows my mind. Yeah. Okay. These are great questions to ask Max
Yeah.
next time.
We gotta get a lawyer for the pod.
Yeah.
Max. We get yeah.
We're also assuming he knows. I mean, he's like a special, like not. It's like asking a doctor everything. Like, they don't know everything. We're just assuming that Max knows everything about
Yeah.
the law, even though this is not. He does animal welfare. This is maybe
We
he
should
knows
have
it.
a veterinarian on to talk about tennis injuries and see how convincing they are. That was what I was thinking as you're saying that.
Ooh,
All right.
Where are we?
Where are we? Jackson, how you doing, man? What do you think? Is it going to rain? Are you feeling optimistic? What do we think?
I am big on checking the weather before tournaments, and this one is stressing me out, I gotta say.
It's not looking
It's
good.
like, you look at the forecast a week in advance, and it's like a little bit of rain. You're like, all right,
Yeah.
it's summertime, things
Sure,
can change,
sure.
but it has not been going away. And I gotta say, I'm a big fan. I don't know what weather app y'all use, but I use WeatherBug, and WeatherBug usually does not fail me, but I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
So
So is it supposed to rain like the whole time?
not Friday.
So it's like Friday I think is good,
Friday's good.
and then like Saturday and Sunday. The thing is, it's thunderstorms
Yeah.
at like 50%, and at the beach too. You never really know with thunderstorms if they're gonna they come in, rain a ton, leave, or if they're gonna be steady rain. So hopefully it's just scattered.
yeah.
If you knew you were going to live, but you had to get struck by lightning to play the tournament, would you do it?
Absolutely,
Absolutely
Whatever
not.
it takes.
Absolutely not.
Matt, this lightning strike would also heal your wrist, and you can start playing. again
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would do anything to have my wrist healed.
immediately. I would think about it for about a second, and then be like, "All right, let's get this over
Yeah.
with."
No, I would do it if it would heal my wrist and I could live.
Hey, that's a pretty cool story too. I had a boss that got struck by lightning.
Oh, wow.
Are you serious?
Yeah, straight up. He's the cool, like one of the coolest human beings I've ever met. And he got struck by lightning, and he was in like a room like with somebody else with a window open. He gets struck. He like freaks out, running around because he thinks his legs are on fire. Figures out that he's like okay and fine, and then his buddy just starts laughing, and he's like, "What are you laughing at?" And he just goes, "Dude, you just got struck by lightning." And if
What?
that was
Great.
yeah, like and that's the only lightning strike story I know.
That's one
Really?
more than me.
And he's just fine.
Yeah, no, he's doing
just
great.
fine.
If you're listening and you know somebody who's been struck by lightning, playing tennis or otherwise, text us, call us.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear it.
It's a great story. I am looking at the weather for Sunday, and it just looks terrible. 80% chance in Wilmington, and then Saturday 60. Yeah. But so one thing they do have, I don't know if this tournament will do it, but they do have clay courts, and they're like public clay courts and clay court accessibility. When we've gone down there for states, we have played on clay courts. So that's a slight advantage, assuming that they could do that, but I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. We'll see. I wouldn't count on the clay court as a backup.
This is definitely one of the challenges with out-of-town tournaments, right? Like, I don't really want to be back late Sunday night. Sunday's sort of the day that I get into my routine.
Yeah.
My wife Sarah and I go grocery
Yep,
shopping. We like clean up a little bit,
Sure.
and that's just like it's tough. It's tough to not be able to get in that rhythm. So I hope it either doesn't rain and we get lucky, or it just gets totally rained out.
Yeah.
Because as long as we can leave at a reasonable hour on Sunday, like everything's fine.
Yeah.
Right.
I would agree.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like them weird in between. It's definitely tough. I appreciated that about the Hollow Rock tournament. They just like made a decision and they stuck with it. It seems like these people know what they're doing down in Wilmington.
Yeah.
So if they're anything like Daniel Marchek, then I know they raise them nice in Wilmington.
This is one of the best run tournaments in the state. I mean, if it is able to go on, they have like food for everything, and the trophies are cool. Like, they had like really cool glasses last year. Like the facilities are in really good shape. It's a really well run tournament. So I would be bummed for the people organizing it if it gets rained out, because like I know the silent auction is cool. Which
The silent auction?
Everyone should check out. It's for a good cause.
Oh, I didn't know. I love silent auctions.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They got some good stuff on there. They got like a
Oh,
mountain
yeah.
vacation, which maybe could sync up with the Asheville tournament.
Yeah.
Or they got a beach vacation. They got all kinds of cool stuff on there.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right, gang. Anything else before we get out of here?
I wanted to plug the Seven Oaks tournament. So this is run by a friend of the East End boys, Davis Feltz. He is one of the head pros out at Seven Oaks. And this was, if you've listened to some of the podcasts before, this is where I had our epic showdown where I broke my racket and Jackson almost got in a fight.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I actually, in the spirit of previous episode fact checks, that was mostly right, Matt, but I do want to clarify. I did not ask him if he wanted to go after the match.
What did you say, Jackson?
But I will provide some more context too. So as a quick recap, so as Matt said, him and Nick had a huge comeback in the tiebreak, and in the midst of the tiebreak, there was a ball that I think Matt called out. It was you, Matt, right? You
Probably.
called out.
I don't remember, yeah.
And there's a little bit of a question. The opponents questioned it, and I was like watching. I just finished a match with Jaron. We were watching next, outside, and I was like, yeah, that was out. And the spectators did not like that. One guy behind me actually chirped at me, said that I was standing in front of him, he couldn't see. So there was already a little bit of hostility there. The match ends with an epic win.
How did he say
comeback.
How did he say that?
He was just like, well, at first I thought he was joking with me, but he was angry. He was just saying like, oh, I would have been able to see it in or whatever if I could actually see it or see what's going on. And I was like, whoa. I was standing in front of him though. I didn't realize, but whoopsie. But anyways, they complete the epic comeback. They win. And then post match, the dude comes back to chirp at Matt. And I can't remember the exact words he said, but he said something along the lines of, it doesn't even matter to me, like you're the one complaining or whatever. He said like, I'm not worried about it, but clearly you are. He said that to Matt, and then I basically said, you're clearly worried about it because you're still coming up and complaining about it after the match.
Yeah.
And then he just like looked at me, went silent for a second, and he said, shut up, and then turned around and walked away.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Like
That's like pretty rude.
a grown man, probably in his 40s or 50s, and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And one of the
What's the etiquette of like post-match discussions if you have like a match that gets like a little heated?
It's over. The match is over. There's nothing to discuss.
I'm all team squash it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can whine about it to your friends afterward, but you don't take it up with your opponents.
Yeah, I think like win or lose, you just say sorry about that and you just move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you swing vision it, then you can check and
Exactly.
see if they actually were making bad calls.
Exactly.
Jackson, I have a couple questions that I need to ask you actually before we do get out of here. First is, can you give some advice on how to dive headfirst for a ball?
Yeah, that is critical, yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, all you have to do is just be running over your feet already and stumbling forward and have a ball that's completely out of reach and you're already kind of falling down, so then you go for the dive. Hope
What
it works.
surfaces have you done that on?
Hardcore only, please. Honestly, Jaron, in one of our doubles tournaments, he did a dive on the clay court.
Ooh.
And his battle wounds were way worse than when I dove on hard court. So
Yeah, when you get the clay in the cut, that's the worst.
Yeah.
It takes forever to come out.
I recommend hard court if you're thinking about diving.
Are there any rules or norms that you would like to see change? For example, cheering during points, no catching the toss on your serve, etc.
I think a lot of people know this about me, but I think tennis is silly in the fact of everyone's so quiet during the sport, even in between points. But like every other sport I played growing up, everyone's like cheering and cheering each other on, and there's a lot of energy and emotion. You go out there in a league match, there's 5 courts of tennis going on, and it's like silence outside, which I thought was crazy. For me, like, maybe get in my head more about the sport and what was going on. Like, it made me more tight, I would say. Being able to let out some like emotion and excitement definitely releases that tension for me. In terms of legit rules, I don't think it's a hindrance in someone's talking during a point, like you're communicating with your partner in doubles, for example. I'd love to see people just like, I'm sure people would abuse it and just straight up heckle someone during a point. It's just audio. It's not like they're physically altering you or like harming you. Like, if they're just chirping during a point, I say go for it. You got to block it out and focus.
I thought you might say abolish the let rule. Because I've seen you when a ball rolls onto your court, like, try to wave. So you were playing next to me once.
Yeah, you got to tell the story.
You are bad
Yeah,
at Jackson.
ball
I will
rolls onto your
confirm,
court.
Yeah.
And like, you almost step on it.
Yeah.
And like I'm like hovering, and like I'm like, okay, like he's not that close. Fine. You get near it a second time, and it's like, oh man, I don't want you to get hurt. You get near it like a third time. I'm like, all right, like, and you look at me, you're like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
And you were so pissed.
Yeah.
It's the only time I've ever seen you mad on a tennis court, and it was that was so funny. Because man, like that's just crazy level commitment to the pursuit of the ball and the win.
Yeah, that was not my finest moment. That is the result of playing Brett Compton and getting totally beaten down. That was like, I was getting destroyed by Brett in the middle of that, and I was just frustrated. But yeah, I do appreciate you looking out for me and making sure I didn't get injured. But I totally just, like, if I can see the ball in my peripheral, then I'm just like, let's play on if I think that I have a chance at winning the point, or in general. So
I have also been Brett Compton. that dude can play tennis.
Yeah, he's a great and a great guy.
Yeah.
Jackson, close us out with one more thing. What do you enjoy most about tennis?
Wow. Well, honestly, I got to say the biggest thing I've loved about tennis is the friends that I've made from it. Not to be all sappy, but it's been a great way. Like post college, it's hard to meet people, and I would say like tennis has been an awesome outlet to not only get your exercise, but also just to meet other people. And we got a great community in the Triangle area. So yeah, I'd say like that's what keeps me going. I think if I didn't like the people around it, I probably wouldn't be playing as much. So
Yep. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It is hard after college, and I know I was doing so much school. I didn't have any friends for a long time until I played tennis again. So that's been huge.
It's an amazing sport.
Yeah.
It's an amazing community. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Triangle Tennis Podcast.